D'Angelo Russell has probably had the most weird start to an NBA career we've ever seen. And I say start to a career because he's still only 26 years old at this point. But just think about what he's been through. His rookie year was Kobe's farewell tour. His second year, he had to deal with the idea of the hometown savior Lonzo Ball coming to the Lakers all season. He gets traded across the country to the Brooklyn Nets, leads them to the playoffs, makes an all star game, and then gets traded for Kevin Durant. He then goes to the Warriors, gets ejected in his fourth game with the Warriors, and the next game, Steph Curry gets hurt and is out for the season. I don't think it gets much more weird than that. And someone like me who was so excited to see D'Angelo Russell go learn from Steph Curry, it lasted 5 games. And just to add to that, he gets traded for Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins proceeds to win a championship, being the Warriors' second best player in the playoffs. And they also get Jonathan Kuminga in the trade. So all we've heard all summer is the Minnesota Timberwolves are looking to move D'Angelo Russell. But then the Gobert trade happened. And I see this Gobert trade as kind of like a lifeline to D'Angelo Russell. Because D'Angelo Russell being one of your best players, D'Angelo Russell leading your team per se, those dreams are probably dead. But what can D'Angelo Russell still do to make himself extremely valuable to a team is he can bring out the best in the people around him. And Rudy Gobert, what do we know he needs? He needs someone to get him easy baskets around the rim, something that wasn't really happening for him in Utah. And if D'Angelo Russell can turn Rudy Gobert into a legitimate pick and roll option, that raises the ceiling of this team significantly. All of a sudden, if you're D'Angelo Russell, you look around, you have Rudy Gobert at the rim, you have Carl Towns spotting up from three, you have Anthony Edwards who can shoot threes with the best of them on some nights, but also dunk at the rim at will. If you're D'Angelo Russell, you look around and you see all these players that you can make a difference on, that you can make better, that you can prove your value by doing that. I honestly think D'Angelo Russell is the ceiling for this team. That sounds crazy, but D'Angelo Russell is the X factor for this team. And D'Angelo Russell being an X factor and not a constant is a bit disappointing. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I think this team will go as far as D'Angelo Russell takes them. Next year. Next year. Maybe we get 2, 3 years down the line and Anthony Edwards is so great. He's developed into a great playmaker and he can run a team. Maybe we get to that point sometime in the near future. But for right now, D'Angelo Russell has this team in his hands. He's never had this opportunity before. The closest thing was last year, and honestly, up into the playoffs, he delivered in that. But he's never been asked just to be a pure point guard. Now, obviously, he's still going to score the ball. He's going to have nights where he hits 7, 8 threes. We know he's capable of those nights. But overall, his role on this team is just going to be to make everything go, to get the best out of Rudy Gobert, to get the best out of Cat, to get the best out of McDaniels. Last year, D'Angelo Russell averaged 18 points per game. I would expect that to come down. I would expect him to average around 14 points per game. But he can still do that and have a better season. Last year, Rudy Gobert averaged 15 points per game. I would expect it to be at that or even higher next year. If I'm D'Angelo Russell, I'm making that my mission. The guy that we just gave up 5 first round picks for, I'm making it my mission to make him an offensive threat. I'm making it my mission to make sure Jaden McDaniels looks like a legitimate starting wing in this league. And that's where my value is going to show up if I'm D'Angelo Russell. Because let's be honest, if this does not go well, where's D'Angelo Russell going to be a starting point guard in the league again? This is his last chance to be a starter in the NBA. That may sound crazy to some of you, but so many guys come in the NBA and get starting spots off the rip. Darius Garland, John Morant, these guys just got here and they're already all-stars in the NBA. These spots fill up very quickly. So D'Angelo Russell is going to have to prove a lot this season, and I think he's set up in a very great position to do so. And while I heavily disagree with all the assets they gave for Rudy Gobert, the fact that they were able to keep D'Angelo Russell in that deal, I think this team has a legitimate chance to be great. But it all hinges on D'Angelo Russell being the best he can be in his role. Again, A lot of us had hope D'Angelo Russell could be a perennial All Star, Hall of Fame, or even. I think that's pretty much dead. But if he can be an All Star in his role, if he could be exactly what they need at the point guard position, if he could lead the team, orchestrate the team, and some nights go out and get 30, that's exactly what this team needs. And I think D'Angelo Russell is at the point where he's mature enough to realize that this is not about him. The Minnesota fans are going to be always going to be more attached to Cat. They're always going to be more attached to Anthony Edwards. And if Rudy Gobert comes in and they become a great team, Rudy Gobert is going to get the credit. I think D'Angelo Russell, he realizes that. But at the same time, I think he knows he's good enough and he knows his capabilities to know he has the chance to actually make this a great team, depending on how he approaches the season. And I think D'Angelo Russell is going to have the best year of his career. He's not going to have the highest scoring year, but I think he's going to have the best year of his career as far as impacting winning and probably the most efficient year of his career. And I can't wait to see it because a lot of people are down on D'Angelo Russell. And I think he still has some great years in the NBA left, even if that's not the perennial all star we all thought he could be. I think he could be a winner. And at the end of the day, that's what matters most.